This is my review of Taron, the Intamin Blitz coaster from 2016, located at Phantasialand. This coaster is actually pretty cool. It sits in a very nice and very awesome themed area called Klugheim, which has tons and tons of rock work and medieval buildings around, and just seeing the ride wind around the entire area is really cool. But this is a very controversial ride because I was very disappointed. In total I got 3 rides on it, once in the middle, once in the back, and once in the second to front row. And was it that great? No. The launches, especially the second one, were nice, but the rest of the ride was pretty mediocre. But I'll talk about the rest later. Now let's come to the stats. Taron has a top speed of 72.7 miles per hour or 117 kilometers per hour. Taron sits at a height of 98.4 feet or 30 meters. It has a track length of 4,330 feet or 1,320 meters. The ride has no inversions and features 2 launches. Both are LSM launches. The ride is also very smooth. And now, let's take a look at the ride experience. You take a 90-degree turn out of the station and then a small S-curve, and then you stop at the first launch. Now, the first launch is pretty forceful, but it doesn't kick you up on the top speed. And as good as it is, it could be even better. Then this first overbank is fun, could be more intense, and now you get into this airtime hill. Some ejector airtime, but nothing else. This turn is forceless. This transition is pretty good, this turn is forceless again, and this turn is forceless, and even this turn drop is pretty forceless. The entire ride is forceless. And now with some other forceless turns, I could keep on going with saying that it's forceless, because every part is. And now for the best part of the ride, the second launch. That's really awesome. One of the best launches out there for sure. Now we're traveling along some rock work, having some transitions here. Now this overbank here is actually pretty good. The second part is definitely better than the first part. But some of those turns are pretty mediocre too. The pacing isn't that great and you take all the elements way too slow. And now even on this airtime hill there are trim brakes that kill off any airtime you could get there. Because of the trims, this turn here is forceless too, and then the ride is over. But now let's talk about the theming. Yes, there isn't really a story that is told, it's just a village and rocks, but the theming there is really insane. It is very unique, the entire area is humongous, the ride is actually pretty big, the ride time is pretty long, and just with all those buildings and the rocks, it's just pretty awesome. And just the feel when you're in there, it doesn't feel like you're in the park, it's like a different world, and the ride in the park, they really nailed it, so that's fantastic. Talking about the operations, well, I'll be honest, I don't quite remember, but the lines for this thing can get atrocious. So be prepared to wait like 90 minutes or 2 hours on a bad day, but when the new coaster fly opens, things will change, that's for sure. Some people like this ride way more than I did, because they really appreciate the theming. Of course the theming is nice, but if a ride has theming and nothing else, it isn't that great. And the ride really was pretty forceless, like the turns were taken way too slow, the pacing of this thing isn't that great either, and I am someone who really loves some fast transitions, but the transitions on this ride were pretty tame, so that was really disappointing. But overall, it's a good coaster. For a final score, it's getting an 8 out of 10. Most of it is for the second launch and for the theming, but because it's so forceless and it's just there and it's just wasted potential, I can't give it more than 8, so there you go. And a quick reminder, in my last 2 reviews, I was maybe a little hard when I talked about the POVs, but I wasn't talking about the overall right there. I was just talking about this special element compared to the model. So if I say that a turn on the Giga Coaster is forceless, it's still a Giga Coaster, so it doesn't suck. So keep that in mind. But what I said about this ride, I meant everything as I said it. So be prepared, you could be disappointed with this ride because I was. Bye.